Hey, everybody. Tell me if you can hear me. I know you can see my tabletop. Things are going to be a little different today. It seems that we're moving tomorrow and everything's packed. So I only have the one camera to work with. So that's what you get. The one camera and the desktop. All right. Let's see who all's in here. Hi, Pam. Hi, Harola. Hi, Marianne. Hi, Carol. Hi, Katia. Let's see, who else? As it comes closer to Christmas, I believe the class is going to get smaller. Hi, Mejo. Well, we're glad you found us too. All right. Hi, Nanetta. Hi, Mary. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Robin. Can y'all hear me? Say hello. Hi, Ann. Y'all give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Wave at me. Do something. All right. All right. Great, 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 great. Hi, Christy. Y'all have to bear with me. I ain't used to this. I don't usually work the day before we're moving, but it's a tumbling block in here. So we're going to give it a few more minutes. What'd y'all think of last Sunday's special class? Wasn't that fun? Hi, Deanna. I see a lot of new people in today. Awesome. You can see we got some beads, pretty little beads, and some thread, pretty little thread. We're going to play with beads today. It's not going to be the full hour-long class today, but I wanted to go over when, where, and how to add your beads. And I thought today would be a great day to do that because y'all are going to start this pattern from Karina, the ring on ring. You did the ring on ring sampler. So now you can do the ring on ring earrings, but I want to show you how to put your beads on. So you got it all covered. All right. Anne's working on a Helix cord sampler. Now that sounds very pretty, Anne. Yeah, it was a treat. It's always nice to learn something new. And the thing about it is when you learn something new, it gives you a whole new adventure to travel through. Okay. And that Helix tatting, it's simple enough. It looks so difficult, but it's really not. And I see that Katia's having issues on how to work with needle, though. Katia, did you get the printout? Hi, Pam. Did you get the printout on the needle? Pam said she wasn't too crazy about it. Hi, Sue. You didn't like it either? Was it confusing? Yeah, he's very organized. That's only one half of his shop. His shop's in Virginia, West Virginia. Can't remember. It's one of the Virginias. Okay. Pam, you and Katia write Richard and tell him that y'all are confused on that. And let him get a hold of Bonnie. Bonnie may contact you guys personally. If she does, maybe she can walk you all through it. Does that sound like a plan? Thank you, Pam. But yeah, contact him because he was concerned if it would be a problem or difficult for needle tatters. And Bonnie is a master needle tatter. I mean, if it can be done in needle tatting, she knows how to do it. Hi, Sue. No tips and no tricks. I didn't look it over. As soon as he sent it to me, I put it in the post on the video and stuff because we was fixing to go out for the evening. So yeah, I think, bottom line is for needle tatters, you're going to do a lot of threading and unthreading unless you've got enough needles to cover your bases with it. What I would use instead of a regular tatting needle, and this is me, okay, it's just food for thought. I'm not a needle tatter. So if I'm wrong in this thought, then say so. But I'm thinking maybe a different type of needle, something that you can get the eye and the needle shaft to be the same, and if it's got a sharp point on that needle, you can always snip it off and, buff it out. Get one of those tools where they round it out. Hi, Arlene. I don't know what you're talking about, Pam. Y'all confusing me when you're talking needle. Hi, Fred. I don't know if you have to or not, Pam, to be honest. I think you could use a regular type of, like an embroidery needle, as long as the shaft of the needle and the eye of the needle is the same size. And they do have embroidery needles that are like that. You'd have to hunt for them, but I know they have them because I've got a couple in my sewing kit. Hi, Mavis. Hi, Susan. Glad you could make it. We're all still discussing the Helix tatting. Sounds like y'all had fun in that class. I haven't even been able to watch the video. I was watching the chat so everybody else could enjoy. And he showed me back at Tat Days how to do it. I'm not going to even tell you what kind of shape I was in when I got to Tat Days. But yeah, I didn't comprehend very well what he was doing. And then we had a conference call with him and I still couldn't grasp it. So yeah. But I have all the faith in Pam and Katia to figure it out in needle. Yeah, you probably could, Marianne, because even though he was flipping his stitches, I just wonder if you didn't flip your stitches, what would happen? If you just wrapped your stitches, you know what I mean? That would be wild. Maybe it would put the caps all on the inside or something. I don't know. So, but on that note, it is time to get started for class. Now, for those of you late arrivals, I do want to let you know I only have one camera set up today because we're moving the rig tomorrow. And we're going to be pulling out of here bright and early because we got a long day ahead of us. We try not to drive more than 3 hours, and we've got a 7.5-hour trip ahead of us. So, yeah, it's for a car, it's not that far. But when you're pulling this rig, you about have to double your time. So, all right. Arlene says she has a foam Kumihomo disc that she's going to use for shuttle management. That's a good idea, Arlene. Hi, Pasha. Pam, you can get a Kumihomo disc at Hobby Lobby, Joann's, anywhere craft supplies are sold, and you can also get them on Amazon. They're not that expensive. If you buy the Kimihomo disc with the kit, it's got the all the stuff that goes with it, like beads and such, thread, that type thing. It'll be a little more expensive, but you can get just the disc itself pretty cheap. Yeah, they were all using from what I understand, the cardboard ones. I don't know who came up with that. Teresa, is that what you came up with? Yeah, Walmart has them in kits. I have one. It's in storage. A lot of good it does me here, right? All right. Well, let's get started with today. All right. Teresa, you're a very smart lady. Don't let nobody fool you. I mean, I grab cardboard for things like that first. Okay. Because if it doesn't work, you haven't lost anything. You haven't invested anything. But if you see that you're going to be using this for more than one make, yeah, invest in the Kimihomo. Okay. Because it's good for a lot of things. Okay. A lot of things. And, you know, but never, ever, ever, and I'm going to repeat this again, never, ever, ever purchase a tool or something to help you in your tatting until you have tested the cheaper version. Okay. And the cheaper version is a makeshift at home. All right. Nanetta tried it, and really after some first rounds where you connect, see the pattern, you can see that you cannot see the pattern growing. Then it becomes clear where the thread comes from and what shuttle you should pick. That makes sense, Nanetta. Yeah, but that's how it's made, Susan. You have to continue to swap out the shuttle and the ball thread in order to get the helix cord. So that was the purpose. Otherwise, it won't work. It's a technique that requires you to do that. To me, it seemed like because you were carrying all these threads, you were using them frequently. Whereas if you're carrying cord inside the parameter of your tatting, okay, so say you've got 6 shuttles. 5 of those shuttles would be your core thread. That would give you a really thick core, okay? But no definition. It would be just tatting over the core thread. What this is there's no core, and you're giving it a spiral effect using multiple colors of thread. Does that make sense to everybody? I find it unique, but not every technique is for everybody. Okay. Let's look at different things. It's the old saying, different strokes for different folks. Okay. And if you don't like using thrown rings, good example, don't use them. You don't have to. Okay. You can eliminate them. Going to shorten yourself on patterns, but you can eliminate. And you'd be changing a pattern. So that means you have to change your stitch counts. You have to change everything about that pattern for an element you leave out. Because what's that element going to do? Is it going to tie into something else? But if you don't like doing them, you will learn the workaround. Okay? You don't like split rings or split chains. Same deal. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. There's no law that says you have to do something you don't like to do in tatting. Okay? There is no tatting police anywhere. If they are, I want to meet them. I want to see their badges. Okay? So if you can't do it, try it later. Give it a whirl. Find out if you really don't like it. If you don't do it. I've got techniques that I don't do because I don't like them. But I have to show them to you because that's one of the requirements that Georgia laid down, that I needed to teach all the techniques possible. If I couldn't teach them, get somebody in that could. And I don't mind that. Exactly, Teresa. She's saying when you first learn on an element, it feels difficult, but a second time it gets easier. Right, Anne, it's art. We all do what we enjoy that gets us the effect we like. That is the perfect statement about tatting. It's an art form. How many of you all crocheted or knitted? I crocheted. I did a granny square. Okay. I got tired of granny squares. You can only do so much with a granny square. Okay. And everything looks the same. And that's what makes the tatting unique. You can change it up. And that gives you a little design element. Who knows? You may come up with something nobody else has done, just like this. Exactly, Marianne. I remember that. I remember that. And, you know, we all have that difficult phase. I will tell y'all something. When I first got my tatting shuttles from my mom that belonged to my great aunt, I looked them up and all I could find was the, shuttles that went into outer space. And I just looked down and I said, I ain't getting in there and filling that thing. I had no idea what a tatting shuttle was. My mom said it made lace. And you say lace around me, I'm ready. Okay. And I worked and tried to find information on it. This is how long ago it was. And there was not anything but Karen Cabrera's videos. Nobody else had a video. Well, I take that back. There was another young lady that had a video, but the outside elements that was going on in her video was really distracting and you couldn't concentrate. Karen has great videos. It's just I couldn't get past their fingernails. They're so beautiful. And she's Speedy Gonzalez. Okay. So yeah. And back then YouTube, you couldn't slow it down. I mean, you got what you got. So that's what I say. If it's worth doing and doing right, it's worth trying and stepping forward. If you give up, you'll never learn. If you try, you will learn. You'll learn to like it or you'll learn not to like it. If you learn to like it, you'll learn to go forward. If you learn not to like it, you'll stop right there. Okay? So that's why tatting is so fantastic. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot of attention span to get started. I mean, rings and chains, it's double stitch. Okay? It's the fancy footwork. Okay? That's what is so scary. And then when you get into it, you're like, I can't do this. And I will tell you, and Harold will vouch for this. Oh, yes, you can. And it's easier than you think it is. Anything that is beautiful and delicate looks difficult to do. And that's the truth. Right, Mavis. Right. It's because of its delicacy and the many useful things you can do with it. Okay. Now, Jane sent me an email. Okay. And she told me she wasn't going to do her Tat It and See this year. However, she is working on some patterns for Tat Days this year. And Teresa, isn't it true she's going to try to make an appearance at Tat Days this year? This coming year? And if you all get an opportunity, you need to go to Tat Days to see her. She is a wealth of knowledge. She is a twin to Georgia with a beautiful British accent. Okay. Now, she did invite us to share her website as well as her blog and, many different things. She's got on her blog page and her pattern page a lot of patterns. Can you attend Tat Days by Zoom? No, hon, you can't. You have to go in person. However, they do offer scholarships. If you can't afford to go, apply for a scholarship. Okay? So, but what I was saying is go to Jane's website. She has techniques on her website. A lot of the technique pages we use here in the class because they're so easy to follow. Okay? Her technique pages are probably the easiest ones out there. Her patterns, they're easy. Okay? They're not real difficult. And she'll give you tricks and tips how to cure a problem. Okay? Her website and her pattern page is something every tatter needs to put on their bookmark. Okay? She's been around a long time. And she's funny too. She'll make you laugh. That's for sure. But check out her past tatted and sees. Okay. You're a new tatter and you're wanting to know how to add new threads. That's your only problem when shuttle is empty. I don't know how to continue. Well, after you fill up your shuttle, you can add new threads many different ways. You can just lay the thread in there and start tatting over it as a core and then sew your thread tails in after. You can tie a weaver's knot. You can use a slip knot, okay, and join the two threads together, the tail of the other thread that's you've left behind that you ran out with, or you can just start over with that, okay? So I'll show you real quick. Let me get a couple of pieces of thread here. If I can find some. Do I have any in here? No, I don't. All right. I've got this. This is polyester thread. And it doesn't work as nice on stuff like that. But it's my play thread. As you can see, I've been playing. So, but this is polyester thread. And yes, you can use polyester thread because we was going to do beads today. Now, I am going to pretend like I have run out of thread. All right. Now I've got this tail. This is the piece I was working on, say. This is the piece that I'm going to add. You can take and you can make a square knot. Right over left, left over right, and you get a square knot. Okay. Pull it through. Well, don't have enough tail there. There we go. And you see how it comes together. See how it comes together? You just pull it, it locks in. All right. Don't pull it till you open it back up. This is polyester thread. Cotton thread will lock. All right. Now, if you want to do just a slip knot, make yourself a slip knot, pull it down, grab your other tail, feed it up or down. It doesn't matter. Through that slip knot. Pull that slip knot down. Once you get it pulled down, you'll hear it snap. Pull both your tail and your thread and it will snap. Ain't going nowhere. Well, it will because it's polyester. Okay. That's polyester thread. Cotton thread doesn't move. Okay. Once you pull that knot in, it's there for life. Okay. And that is how you add it. If you have a ring or a chain here, never ever add thread as a beginner in a chain or at the middle of a ring. Wait until you're more professed and then do it. I've been tatting a lot of years. I don't like the icky that it leaves behind when you do that. Add thread in the chain or the ring. Okay. So I finish my element. What you would do is run your slip knot all the way up to the element. Your element would be your ring or your chain. So your slip knot would run all the way up to the end of that element. As if this was the element, your knot would come in right here. I'll show you. Remember, again, this is polyester thread. This knot is not going to hold Polyester thread is very, very slick. It has to be when you're using it for ankars. Ankars is a type of jewelry that has a special technique to tat. There's videos up that we've been working on. As you can see, I can barely get it to hold in there. All right, now we got it pulled up. Once we pull that knot up, we pull the knot up to the element. Then we grab the tail of that and the other cord and you pull it till it pops. When it pops, it's attached. Now watch. If this was cotton thread, it wouldn't come loose. But because this is not cotton thread, you see, it's pulling loose. It's polyester thread, but that's all I got right now. So does that help you there, hon? I hope it does. All right, now let's get into this bead fun here. We got Bead Fest 101 going on, folks. All right, now what you see, I've got several things here. First of all, my favorite beading needle is this. This is called a Venus beading needle. Do you see the tip of that? Can y'all see that? The reason I like this beading needle is watch. Now I'm going to run this needle through this bead, this crystal here. If I can find the tiny hole. It's got a very tiny hole. Now, most beading needles, the ones with the collapsible eye, once the eye collapses going through this, the bead, it stays collapsed. Then you got to get your scissors or something and open that eye back up. The Venus beading needles do this. Watch what I'm about to do. Let me get up here for you so you can see. All right, you see, there it is. Now, try to do this so you can watch. I am pulling that through. Now, that eye is collapsed with that thread, okay? If I had thread on the end, it would be collapsed with the thread. When it comes out the other side, it opens back up. Okay, so when you're using this to thread beads on your thread, that eye is reusable. I keep a supply of them just in case I lose one. But another thing about them that I like is the other end. It does have a point. I have sewn in ends with these. Okay. It is the smallest needle that you can buy that will work under polyester thread without splitting the ply to sew your ends in and get them ready to burn. Okay, so when working with beads, do a little bit of investment. I think it's $8.99. You get a dozen of them. Beadalon's got some for a lot less. You can get them through Fire Mountain Gems. And get you some Venus beading needles. The collapsible eye that retains its shape. They'll look like a teardrop. Big difference than the other ones. The other ones are round. Okay. Another thing about this, I'm going to show you real quick. When I thread my thread through the eye of this needle, watch. I pull it up and it's locked in here at the tip because it's got a little twist here on the top of this needle eye that locks that thread in. Okay. And when you pull it, it's not going nowhere. All right. So if I was going to place this bead on this thread, I would just grab it and pull it through and see the eye is still open. Okay. So there you go. Get you some of these Venus beading needles. If you're going to do a lot of bead work with your tatting, get these. It's worth the investment, stops the headaches, and they're reusable and you can sew your ends in. All right. And it comes with this handy dandy case. All right. And you stick this in. Now in here, I've also got needles in here that I sew my cotton threads in with. I've also got a big eye needle. Now this is a beader's dream. for peyote stitch. If you're a bead weaver, that's a big eye needle. It's a small one. They do come longer. All right. If you want to bead a half a necklace on it, you can. All right. So all that, I just stick it down there. It's got a piece of styrofoam, close it up, and nothing comes out. So with that said, the beads that I've got on here are delicas, and these are crystals. They're I cannot say it, but it's Swarovski. If y'all can say it better, good luck. And this here is a bicone bead, and this is a teardrop. Now, this earring set requires a bicone bead right here. The bicone's there, and the teardrop's right below it. All right. And at the base of that teardrop is one of these delicates. Okay. And that is to keep the sharp edges of your bead, because it is crystal, from cutting your thread. So when you're using crystals or glass beads or metal beads, always use a stop bead. And I use delicas. I'll use clear delicas, or I'll use the solid colored ones. I forget what they're called. These are lined and these are not. They're a solid silver. And I'll use them at the base. And you can't see them. They're not big enough. They don't pop out and jump out at you. But they protect your beads. They protect your thread. Because you cut your thread with this bead here, you've lost your crystal. You've lost your earrings, and beads went everywhere. And then you're down an earring. Then you got to make a pendant out of the earring and make another set of earrings. You gain a necklace, but you have to make another set of earrings. So it's tit for tat, and it's however you want to do it. Okay? To each his own. Now, if a pattern says that a bead needs to go on top of a picot, the way to do that is you've got a thread that you're going to make your picot with. Say, this is our picot. You'll need a paper clip, a ball pen, anything to hold your space up here. And what you will do, I'm going to use the bicone. You're going to hook it on your crochet hook. Grab your thread. Pull it through. Try not to split your plies. If you do, take it out. Try it again. I'm probably using the wrong one. I am. Let me get the other crochet hook. Give me a second. Just a second. I got it right here. It's a little bit bigger head, see? So let's do this. It ain't gonna fit, and that's one size bigger. Gonna have to use that one. Oh well. That's life in the fast lane. How many of y'all's cold? We're still in the North Georgia mountains. And yes, it's cold. All right, I got it. See, I didn't even have to think about it. I caught it. Now, open your paper clip and run it on there. Pull that down, snug-a-bug, to your bead. Now, if this bead has to have a join to it, you leave that paper clip on there. Okay? Reason being, when you're ready to make your join, you'll run your join in where the paper clip is. Okay? Just like that. You'll go down into the hole of the bead. You can get fiddly, folks. It sure can. Karina used to join picots on her beads. She used a G guitar string. I don't know what the G was. I'm not a musician. I like to listen to music, but she knows music. But you put your crochet hook through your loop. Then you pull this off. because you don't want to lose this. Because if you pull it off in the middle of your project, it's going to be a little cumbersome trying to get it back together, okay? You can do it. It's just, why put worry there, okay? So just do it that way, and it'll save you time and trouble. So now we know about adding it to a picot. What about if we need it like on this one, okay? It's going to come in right here underneath that little bicone bead, right? So right there's our bicone. I know it's a little dark, but it's doable. Right here is our bead, our teardrop. Now, we don't want to put that on our shuttle and drag it from here to the heels to get it in that earring. So what would we do? We would sew it in. So when you're starting an earring like these that are ring on ring, you don't have a chain in there, leave yourself a pretty good length of thread for your tail. All right. And then you use that tail to sew that bead in, and you eliminate a lot of tail thread to have to deal with. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah, it keeps you from saying a lot of bad words. Yeah. And I got news for you. You lose your picot, it's just irritating. I won't even tell you how irritating it can get. So, yeah. Make sure you run, even if you have to use a smaller crochet hook to get down in there below that paper clip, bulb pin, whatever you use, do it. If you know what a G guitar string is, get you one of those. That will give you a lot of pull power, okay? Because that's what she used. And I said, where do I get one of those? And she speaks, I want to say she speaks Spanish, but I could be wrong, or Italian. I'm not sure. So there was a language barrier there to a certain point. And she couldn't understand what I was asking. I couldn't understand what she was saying. So yeah, it was like, yeah, she used a G string, whatever that was for the guitar, because her son played the guitar. So yeah, get you one of those and you've solved the crochet hook problem. Now, where do we put our beads on our shuttle before we even start to tat? What goes on first is what's going to come off last. Repeat that with me. What goes on first comes off last. My name is Tammy. I run the classes. So if you wanted this bead, and 10 of these beads, and then this bead, okay? But this is the last bead going to be hanging off your piece. This would go on first. So you would line up your beads. Okay, you go this one. I'm going to put some of these in, and then I'm going to put my spacer in. Then I'm going to put this in. Then I'm going to throw this in. Well, this I'm going to sew in. So that doesn't even join that party. Because of the size of it, it's not going to fit on most shuttles, okay? Just regular clover shuttles. This thing ain't going to fit in there. And you're going to be fighting with it the whole time. Save yourself some headache. Sew it in, okay? So, that said, this is how you'd line it up. So when you start tatting, you put this one on, then you put 10 of these on, then you come in with this bead here, and then the last bead. And then you'd leave your tail after your last bead. All right. Or you leave a really long tail at the beginning of your piece. Okay. And just save it that way. Right. First in, last out. That's the way to remember it. That's a good quote. Philo. First in, last out. Now, if you want your beads to be on your core thread, where do they need to go? Let's think that through. Our core thread, most times we start with a ring. So our core thread is what wraps our hand, like this, when we wrap it in our loom. So this is our core. This is what's going to run through the center of our tatting. Where would these beads go? Okay, well, first of all, we've got 4 beads right here together. We want 1 to go on the core, right? And we want the other 3 to go on the picot that's going to go over that core. It's not really a picot, it's a top thread, but it will look like a picot. Okay, so in order to do that, we take our 1 bead for our core thread and we put it in our hand in our loom. See that? And we put it right there, back of that finger. You see it? It's right there. Why would we want to put it there? Keep it out of our way. If you've got 3 or 4 beads here that's going to be going in this, if you've got a whole bunch of picots that you're going to do like that, you're going to have a lot of these beads down here. So you want them down here past this little finger to keep them out of your way. Okay. Thank you very much, Marianne. Thank you very much for that super sticker. All right. So we've got these other 3 beads. Can you see them? They're in there. See them, see them, see them? Now, those are going to go on the over thread, picot, whatever you want to call it, top thread. It's actually a picot. Okay. Remember, it's a picot, but you're not going to see it as a picot. You're going to see it as a top thread with beads. All right. So those would get wound up into our shuttle to get them out of our way. We'll grab those when we get ready to. Now our ring, we're just going to do a basic ring. We're going to do 6 double stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, we've got our 6 double stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to pull that in. I got that backwards, didn't I? I sure did. The core thread's coming over here. The core thread's over here on the chain. Yeah, it's been a day. I need to pack on class day again. Really do. Let me back it out. Oh, y'all getting a lesson on how do you rip it out. Rip it out. And you don't know how many times I've had to rip stuff out. I don't walk and talk at the same time because I'm a klutz. And I will walk into buildings, light poles, trees, you name it. If it's on the street, I'll walk into it. I've walked into cars. I don't walk and chew gum at the same time because I can't get the 2 to work together. You know that game you played as kids where you pat your belly or rub your belly and pat your head? Never achieved that one. So if I'm talking, forget it. I lose what I'm doing with my hands versus what I'm doing with my brain. I'm just miswired. Short circuit. So we've got 2 more classes, this one and next week before Christmas break. Okay. Now we will be off until next year. At that point, Pam, what's the date we will be returning to class? I can't remember. I said it just Sunday. But there's been a lot go on. Not even going there. Not even. All right, we got it all ripped out. Let's start this puppy over. We need to put our 3 beads on that and pull our other one up. I do believe. Yeah, I will tell y'all this much. A lot of you know, many years ago, I was injured in a bad car wreck. Well, since we've been up here in cold country, you know that old man named Arthur, he's been hanging around. And I got up this morning and I said, geez, why did I even bother? My toe hurt. My toe. Why did my toe hurt? I have no idea. It did. And my shoulder was hurting. My neck was hurting. My back was hurting. I said, oh, yeah, I'll just give it up. I'm just going to give it up and call it a day. So I started moving. And if you start moving when you got Arthur problems, it tends to, but there's certain parts of my spine that was injured pretty heavily that it doesn't help. So I can walk, but I can't bend over. And I got stuff I have to pick up and move. And Hubs, he would do it for me. Problem with that is, great, he'd move it for me and take care of it for me, but he's working too. So getting him to do that for me is a chore. All right, here we go. Now, I've got 3 up here for the picot, and I've got 1 here on the core. The core goes up, these go down. Tighten up that shuttle. Choke it up. You'll hear me in other videos tell you to choke your shuttle up. That means pull that shuttle into your thread. Put your first half of your double stitch in. I know I'm not following Ankar's rules. Reason being, I'm trying to stay in screenshot. Now, you see these beads. You've got to get them to set up the way they need to. This one up top needs to be flat. The 2 on the side need to stand up, and the bottom needs to be flat. That will give you a circle for your beads. See it? They look like a little circle. Then as you tat, they will draw in together. Once you close that ring, they're really going to draw in together. So let's go ahead and put our last 5 stitches in. That's 3, 4, and 5. 5. Oh, yeah, it's supposed to have 6 stitches. There we go. We got them all. Do not like polyester thread. Y'all didn't hear that. Now you hold that in the pinch. Don't release that. This is polyester thread. This is not fun to play with. And you just keep pulling till you get your ring with all your little beads and you fidget with it. Okay? Fidget with those beads. Line them up. And this is what you get. Y'all see that? So, if it's going on the core, it comes from the shuttle. If it's going on the picot, it comes from the loom. Chains or vice versa. Okay? So, any questions on that? Any questions? Let me go through the chat and see what's going on. I know I missed a bunch. Didn't I? Mavis, thank you so much for that super sticker. By the way, guys, we really hit the jackpot. Do you know we had 216 students in class on Sunday? I was proud. I was so proud. And Richard did great. I think he did a wonderful job. He's a fantastic teacher. He is just so calm, mild-mannered, but he is so enjoyable to be around, really. I just love him to death. All right, where am I at? Hi, Sherry. I didn't even see you come in. Yeah, I know. Fred, I am not set up. I don't have a monitor. The only thing I got is what's on my camera. And if it says I'm in screen, that doesn't mean I'm in screen. Oh, Jill, I'll just shoot you. I'm coming to your house. I want some of that cake. It sounded delicious. She made pound cakes. That is a weakness of mine. Okay, let's see. Great tips. You're very welcome, Mijo. That's a good hint, Arlene. If you're having trouble getting the crochet hook through that loop, use a bit of thread and pull it through to use it as a hook to make the join. You can get those in any music shop that sells string instruments. Okay, everybody, did you get that? If you want to get the guitar strings that Karina said that she used, the music shops that sell string instruments. Okay. Kathleen, I didn't even see you come in. Yep. 3 in hand, slide up the last. Thanks. Where was that information? I didn't see it. Okay. Yeah, y'all hit that like button. Build the algorithm on these classes. I think they're doing great. All right, Pam got us the date. It's January 9th is when we return. Sue's class starts for her design class on the 11th. Sue runs her own design class and she has her own YouTube channel. So if you want to join in the design class, please email Sue. We do not handle it. We just support her. Let's see. Yes, you're right, Katia. It should be done true ring technique for needle tatters. Thank you so much, Katia, for that information. The beads need to be loaded per ring, and the last bead will have to be slid on with the needle before closing your ring. To have a bead between double stitches, you always have to slide the beads on the needle and continue your double stitch. Thank you so much for that information, Katia. Mijo, I am not a needle tatter. I did basic beginning needle tatting, and that's all I can help anybody with is beginning needle tatting. All right, Fred, go get you some. Thank you so much, Pam, for that. See, guys, this is why I have Pam. She keeps me in line. She can remember things I can't. You're doing great, Kathleen. Don't worry about it. You got that right, Fred. All of my stuff is in the craft room. All I have is my carry kit that I carry with me when we travel. And this was laying in the desk drawer for the next class. And I thought we was going to be back down south for this class. And oh boy, was I mistaken. I was very mistaken. All right. How do you know how many beads to add in a shuttle? I don't even know how long a shuttle is. How long is the shuttle thread? Okay. The shuttle thread is as long as you want to make it. Okay. If you want to fill your shuttle up, you can fill it up. many beads you put on the shuttle goes according to your pattern. This pattern, if you are a beginner, thank you so much, Jill. Thank you so much for the super sticker. If you're a beginner, this is a pattern that's a little beyond you right now. But I will guarantee you, if you stay in these classes, this time next year, you're going to be running circles around this pattern. Okay? Now, what you need to do, Mijo, is go through our videos. Pam makes sure Mijo gets the beginner series on shuttle, and so she can learn where and what's going on with her shuttle. It will take you step by step all the way through until you're a beginner intermediate. All right? And you follow what those videos say, and you're going to have it in a few days. I'm serious. You're going to know enough in a few days that when you come for the next class, you're going to understand all the Greek words I'm saying. Yes, it's Greek. All right. Mijo, can you please give Pam your information? She is the secretary for the classes. She keeps up with all email. And she also takes care of the Facebook group, Mijo. I kill your name? Well, is that bad or good? I hope it's good. I try. I mutilate so many other people, so feel privileged. Yeah, Mijo, just give her your email address, or you can write the class directly. Well, thank you. I try. I give it E for effort. So, but yeah, if you watch those videos, you'll be able to run circles around this in 6 months, I believe. Yeah, just send your information to the class. It's the online tatting class at gmail.com. And she'll get you enrolled and all that good stuff. Yeah, Aurora knows how bad I can mutilate things. My tongue just doesn't work with my teeth most of the time. He gets hung up on that back tooth every once in a while. I forget what I was saying, and it just would not come out on one of the videos I made for Georgia many moons ago. You're welcome. You're so welcome. Okay. Anybody got any questions on how and when to add our beads so that we can have bead fun? Now, there's no homework tonight. I'm not going to give out homework. I gave you the pattern for the earrings. Make you a pair for the holidays. Make them in red and green. Add some crystals. Give it some sparkle. You do not have to use metallic threads with this. You can use Elizabeth thread. You can use Elizabeth twirls. You can use the new DMC metallics. Now, those are pretty smooth to work with. But I do advise make you a pair. You'll love it. Okay. Now, last week we made the wave earrings, and I seen some beautiful wave earrings. I saw some beautiful necklaces, and I got news for you. You are coming along. Thank you, Katia. I appreciate that. So, everybody, I am proud of you. Now, for those of you doing the Helix piece from Sunday's class, Richard said he'd get a hold of me and let me know when you all could order the book. He's still working on it. And as soon as he gets it ready, then I'll post in the group the address to order it from, the web page, and he will be doing international shipping. I don't know how many of them are going to be signed copies, but he will sign a group of them. The first run books are all going to be signed. And by the way, the one he is donating to the classes is a signed book. We will auction that off, and the highest bidder, and remember, the proceeds go to the running of these classes. All monetary that comes in goes to running of these classes. It pays for the website. It pays for everything we need to run the classes. Without it, the classes wouldn't exist. When the shop gets put up, we're going to work on that over the holidays. And when the shop comes open, all proceeds from the shop will go to build our little nest egg for the classes so that we can do more. The winner of the contest on the Helix tatting, you can make whatever you want to make. You don't have to make the bracelet. You can take it further. Just like Richard said, you can take it further. You can add more shuttles, whatever you want to do to make it unique and different. Remember, he's picking a winner, and that's a $25 gift card to the winner. Okay? So remember that, guys. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up. The winner will be picked January 9th. All right? So with that said, if there's no more questions, I will see you all next Tuesday. After the first of the year, we will probably start running 2 classes on Tuesdays. I'll do a morning and an evening. And that way we can get 2 classes in a week. And then Sue's going to run 2 classes too, right, Sue? Isn't that what I saw? Okay, she fell asleep. Internet died. What happened? Am I here? You're welcome, Jill. Thank you. Hi, Bev. Thank you, Bev. I'm probably going to do 2 different classes or 2 different patterns that day. Oh, you're welcome, Mijo. Kathleen, you're wonderful. See? We're getting them going. We're getting them going. You're welcome, Nanetta. I can't wait to see what you do. Oh, Aurora, you're a sweetheart. I just love you to death. Hugs. All right. Without further ado, I'm going to shut it down and finish packing out the house. Wish me luck tomorrow getting there. Yeah, we're safe travels. We got to go through Atlanta. Ooh, I don't even like taking this thing through Atlanta. But you know how they are. They all are in a racetrack and they're ready to go. But I'll see y'all Tuesday. Y'all have a great weekend and try to stay out of the cold and stay warm. All right. And I'll talk to y'all next week. May all your threads make beautiful lace. Happy tatting, everyone. Bye-bye.